Welcome to Beyond Death, where we examine near-death experiences from people who say they died, crossed to the other side, and came back with the truth. Today, I'm revealing the 10-year timeline I was shown during my death, proving that the chaos we see right now is not the end, but the necessary birth pangs of a golden age in 2035. If this message gave you hope for our future, please like and subscribe to help spread this light to others who need it. I remember the date, clearly not the date I died, but the dates I saw flashing before my eyes in a stream of golden light that stretched far beyond the moment. My heart stopped beating on that cold operating table, because what I experienced wasn't just a glimpse of heaven or a reunion with lost loved ones, but a terrified and then beautiful download of the next 10 years of human history that changed the way I look at every single headline today. It began with the shrill, piercing sound of the heart monitor turning into a flat, singular tone that seemed to stretch into infinity. And suddenly, the frantic voices of the doctors and nurses shouting clear, "And we're losing him," faded into a muffled echo, like hearing a radio playing from the bottom of a swimming pool. And I felt a sensation of violent pulling, a sensation of being ripped from a Velcro suit, until Popeye was hovering near the ceiling, looking down at my own body, which looked so pale, so small, and so incredibly irrelevant to who I truly was in that moment. I felt no pain, no fear of the death itself, only a mild curiosity about the chaos ensuing below me. But before I could linger on the scene, the hospital ceiling dissolved, not into drywall and pipes, but into a mist of iridescent colors that don't have names on Earth. And I was pulled upward into a tunnel that felt less like a hallway and more like a rushing river of pure energy, propelling me faster than the speed of light toward a source of brilliance that radiated a love so intense, so unconditional, that it felt like 1,000 mothers hugging you at once. As I emerged from this tunnel, I wasn't standing on clouds. I was standing on what looked like a platform made of glass, suspended in the cosmos, and standing before me was a being of light, a figure who had no distinct facial features yet seemed intimately familiar, radiating a masculine energy of authority and a feminine energy of nurturing simultaneously, and without moving its mouth. This being spoke directly into my mind with a voice that sounded like the vibration of the universe itself, saying, "You have come too soon, but while you are here, you must see what is to come so that you may return and plant seeds of hope." I wanted to ask what he meant, but before I could form a thought, the being touched my forehead with a finger of light, and instantly, the cosmos around us shifted, transforming into a massive three-dimensional holographic projection of the Earth. But this wasn't the Earth as we know it now. It was a living, breathing timeline, and I saw the years scrolling past like mile markers on a highway, beginning specifically with the immediate future. I saw the timeline enter a period of turbulence, roughly spanning from late 2025 through 2027, and the visual representation of the Earth during this time appeared covered in a grey, static fog which the being explained was the manifestation of human fear and division. I saw climatic shifts that were intense and erratic, not just weather patterns but the Earth itself, groaning, shifting, trying to shake off the heaviness of humanity's negativity, and I felt the collective anxiety of the world rising like a fever, specifically seeing economic structures that we believe are unbreakable beginning to crumble, not to destroy us, but to force us to stop relying on systems that do not serve the soul. It was terrifying to watch at first, because I saw people clutching their possessions, angry and confused, but the guide zoomed in closer, past the chaos, to show me small pockets of light igniting all over the globe during these years. These were communities, families, and individuals who decided to step out of the fear matrix and return to simpler ways of living, growing their own food, helping neighbors, and disconnecting from the digital noise that was feeding the panic. Then, the vision shifted to a pivotal point around 2028 and 2029, a period the guide referred to as the Great Mirror, where it seemed that all secrets, political, corporate, and even historical, were being vomited up to the surface. Nothing could remain hidden anymore. And while this caused a temporary societal shock, where people didn't know what was true, it was necessary for the healing, like draining an infection from a wound. As the timeline moved into 2030, I saw a massive shift in technology, but not the scary AI dystopia many fear. Instead, I saw a breakthrough in energy, something related to frequency and magnetism that would eventually make fossil fuels obsolete. And while the old guard fought to suppress it, the truth was like water, leaking through every crack until it was undeniable. The most profound part of the vision came as we moved toward 2032 and 2033, where the grey fog that had covered the Earth began to break apart, dissipating like morning mist under a rising sun, and the colors of the planet became vibrant again, brighter than before, because humanity had passed through the eye of the needle. I saw that the population was different, not smaller in a tragic way, but lighter in spirit. The frantic need to consume and conquer had been replaced by a desire to create and collaborate, and I saw schools that didn't look like factories, but like gardens where children were taught to master their emotions and connect with nature rather than just memorize data. The guide then showed me the year 2035, and this is the image that made me weep with joy. I saw cities where skyscrapers were covered in vertical forests, blending technology with biology seamlessly, and the air was clean, crystalline, and the noise of the world was no longer the roar of machinery but the hum of life. I saw that the divisions of religion and borders had not disappeared but had become soft, like lines in the sand that could be easily crossed, because the collective consciousness had realized that we are all fractal pieces of the same source. I asked the being, "Is this guaranteed? Is this definitely going to happen?" And the being paused, the light intensifying, and said, "This is the trajectory of the Earth. For the Earth has already made her choice to ascend, but the experience of the humans upon her, whether it is a path of suffering or a path of grace, is decided by the frequency you hold in your hearts right now." He showed me that every time a person chooses love over fear, they literally speed up the timeline toward that golden era of 2035. And every time they choose hate or despair, they linger in the grey fog of the late 2020s longer. I saw golden threads connecting human hearts, a web of consciousness that was far more powerful than any internet. And I realized that the end of the world prophecies we hear about are not the end of the planet, but the end of the world as we know it. End of the era of greed and separation. The feeling of that future Earth, the 2035 Earth, was so intoxicating, so full of peace and belonging, that I begged the guide to let me stay, to let me skip the turbulent years and just wait there in the light. But he shook his head gently and said, "You cannot inhabit a house you have not helped to build. Go back and be a builder." And with that command, the vision of the lush, green, harmonious future collapsed into a singularity of blinding white light, and I felt a sensation of falling backwards, plunging down through the cold, heavy layers of the atmosphere, heavier and heavier, until I slammed back into my body with the force of a car crash, gasping for air, my chest burning from the defibrillator paddles, and my eyes snapping open to the harsh fluorescent lights of the operating room and the stunned faces of the medical team who had just called time of death. They told me I had been dead for only 4 minutes, but I knew I had lived a decade in that time, and as I recovered in the weeks that followed, the memory didn't fade like a dream does. Instead, it sharpened, becoming the lens through which I see everything now. When I see the news today, when I see the wars and the economic fears, I don't feel despair anymore. I feel a strange sense of calm because I know these are just the birth pangs, the breaking of the old shell so the new life can emerge. I know that the grey fog is temporary. I know that the secrets are coming out. And I know, with absolute certainty, that if we can just hold our light, if we can just be the people who choose love when everyone else is choosing fear, we are pulling that golden reality of 2035 closer to us, second by second, breath by breath. I returned not to warn you of doom, but to tell you that the destination is beautiful, and we just have to keep walking each other home through the storm.